Hello, it is day 3 of my winter photography adventure. I've come out to the first of 2 locations I've been really excited about visiting since I started planning this trip. I've come to Ashdown Forest, and this is one of those days where I'm hoping the forecast holds off, that no rain comes. I think we've got a little bit maybe predicted later on, so fingers crossed none of it arrives. But today's video is all about inspiration, waterfalls and Winnie the Pooh. I got up at 4 o'clock in the morning to come out here today. I was hoping for a sunrise. I thought sunrise would come up over on the right and it would illuminate the sky here in front of me. So many times during golden hour, I'll make the mistake of shooting directly into the sun or towards the sun, and there's occasions where I'll end up with a bit of sun flare on the images when I'm looking at them in post. When I was at Lower Houstow on the weekend, I was shooting away from the sun, almost shooting in the opposite direction, and you've still got those lovely colours in the sky. I don't know how it happens, but you still get those lovely pinks, those lovely blues. So I thought I'd come out here this morning. I looked at photo pills, sun coming up over in that direction. I thought if I aimed over in this direction a little bit more, I might get lucky. Instead, all I've got is cloud. I've got a little bit of haze over the distant hills, some lovely views from up here. I thought if I didn't get the sunrise, then one forecast suggested fog. So I thought I'd get drama, I'd get something really atmospheric out here regardless. I don't think it matters though, because there's some lovely views here, there really are. Well worth getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning, that's for sure. Like I said at the start though, this video is all about inspiration today, and inspiration as a photographer, it's something I talk a lot, and it's something I've spoken about a lot in recent videos. There's so many places where you can go and get inspiration from if you're not sure where to go with the camera in the first place. You've got the likes of social media, you've got books that you can fall back onto if you really need to. I've spoken in the past about how I'll take inspiration from other photographers. James Popsis is one photographer in particular that I get a lot of my inspiration from. I love how he likes to find man-made elements for his subjects, for example. The views this morning are another type of inspiration I've wanted to fall back onto for a little while now. I've come back to Ashdown Forest this morning. Now, Ashdown Forest is it's a huge landscape. Where I've been before, it barely scratched the surface, and I've come to another section of the forest this morning. I suppose today's inspiration, I suppose you could say, in a way, you could accuse me of stealing that inspiration from someone else. You see, the views you've got over in the background, they are of the 500-acre wood, or the inspiration behind it. You see, this location here, this is where the author A.A. Milne came up with the characters Winnie the Pooh and Christopher Robin. So I thought to myself, this would be a great place to come out to this morning, because if someone like A.A. Milne, and just to the left of me here is the memorial plaque to the author, and I mean, if you've got a memorial plaque and you want a nice viewpoint, this is it. But I thought this would be a great place. I thought Ashdown Forest would be a great place to come here today, because if it can give him inspiration, I should say, to find and produce such wonderful stories, then I can feed off it as a photographer and find my own inspiration for some epic compositions. And like I've already just said, what more inspiration do you need when you've got views like this? It's stunning out here this morning. I'm sure there's plenty more that we can find. And the beauty of Ashdown Forest is the fact there's something for everyone. Of course, if you're a child or an adult and you kind of love, you grew up with Winnie the Pooh, there's trails you can come out and do. go see if you can find Piglet's house. You've got Owl's house as well. And of course, you've got Pooh's house. I shouldn't not forget the fact there is the Pooh Sticks Bridge. All of these, for me personally, just a great source of inspiration as a photographer. Subjects that are ready made, meaning I don't have to hunt too hard for them, and are kind of just perfect to share like this. All this walking has left me needing a bit of a break. I think it's time as well for second breakfast. Seeing I've not eaten in a few hours now. Not too bad a spot to have some breakfast and enjoy the views. So you might recall, I've actually been to Ashdown Forest before in the past. So it means you're no doubt wondering why I'm here, seeing that this adventure is all about travelling to new places, places I've never been to before. Well, Ashdown Forest is such a vast area. You couldn't do the whole trip in one day. And the spot where I've been before, where I discovered 3 waterfalls. That's way off in one section, and I've come along to a second section where I was at the start when I went to Pooh Sticks Bridge. There are other areas of the forest. And of course there's more spots that I've not been to yet. Now I've come out to this section here today because I learned while doing some research there's 2 other waterfalls in this region. Now waterfalls in the southeast of England, they're not very common, you don't come across them very often. I don't know of 2 others in the entirety of Kent I've never been to before. So I thought, look, I've got to come back to this area. It's beautiful here, as you can see. The sun's out now in the background, we've got some blue skies. It's beautiful. The forecasted rain at the moment really isn't showing up. Now I've done it. So I've made it down to the waterfall, slipping and sliding as I've made my way here. Almost got my foot stuck in the mud, fell over once. You'll be glad to know that I got me falling over on camera, so you might be able to see it up on screen now if the B-roll is any good. It'll give you a good laugh at my clumsiness. But we've had so much rainfall here of late. I was hoping to get down a little bit closer to this particular waterfall itself. I'll have to put it up on B-roll so you can actually see it. But it really is. It's a beauty that I've come across. We've got some lovely green shrubbery over to the left. We've got this tree annoyingly in the way. I might have to move a little bit closer to take this one out of the shot. But there is a second one just a little bit closer. So I'm damned if I do, I'm damned if I don't. Because we've got a lovely amount of light available to us now, I've had to put the ND64 filter on the front of the lens, and that takes us down to a 10-second timer, f8 ISO 100. Of course, the ND64 filter didn't work. I've got a 10-stop filter. I could raise the aperture if I need to. I've got other ways to slow the shutter speed down to a reasonable amount if I need to. But this is almost a beautiful hidden gem. I stumbled across it while I was doing some research online. It's not even on Google Maps. You can't find it anywhere. So when I was walking down the path, there were parts of me wondering, am I going in the right direction? Is this going to be a waste of a journey? Have I said at the start of this video, I'm going to find waterfalls and I don't actually find any? That would be embarrassing. Let me tell you that now, because when I recorded that bit at the start, I hadn't found this. I've not even found the second waterfall yet. So this might be the only waterfall that I can share with you. Hopefully there'll be a second segment where I'm at a second where it might be a little bit more of an open space. It might be a better composition. But I'll put the live view up on screen as well now. Let me take the ND filter off and I'll put the live view on so you can just see the type of composition that I'm going for, with the stream here leading its way from the top left-hand corner. I've tried to artistically position the tree, and of course we've got the waterfall in the middle of the shot. I'm going to have to play around with the shutter here, I think. So even though I've got the ND64 filter on, I might need to play around, raise the ISO up if I find if it slows the image down too much. Maybe even take the ND filter off and raise the aperture. It's all going to be about trial and error with this image that you see now. I think the worst part of doing your research relying on Google Maps is the fact that you don't realise how hilly places are until you get to them. Still, I need the exercise. This isn't hurting. I got lucky with the first waterfall. I'm off to find the second. We had a brief amount of rain as well just a minute ago, so let's hope that's all I've got to put up with. So I finally found it. I found this second waterfall. Been walking a couple of miles and you start to think to yourself, am I going to find it? Am I going to come across it? After a little while I could hear the running water. I thought, I must be close. I must be close. And it really is worth the hunt. It is beautiful. It's called the Garden of Eden waterfall. You must resist the temptation to take amazing photos, but we know that is never going to happen. We've got this lovely tree over on the right-hand side of the shot. I'm thinking I'm having to get that in. Got some beautiful green moss on the side. Equally got some faded green over on the right. It's almost set up perfectly. We know how much I like to wash out my colours, lower the saturation. It's almost been done for me over on the left-hand side. Got some more moss here in the foreground, and then down on the actual river, we've got some rocks lying around, and we've got another rock just down here. You're probably not able to see it, but I might have to get myself a little bit wet today to get the shots that I'm after, because using these rocks as foreground elements, I think they're too good to miss out. The waterfall itself, I'm not sure at the moment because I'm going to have to get the camera set up, but it's moving at a nice flowing rate, so I shouldn't have to worry too much about an ND filter. Raise the aperture if I need to get the shutter at a nice slow speed. But all these elements should just come perfectly together, and I should hopefully be able to share those images right now. I think on that note, it's time for me to head off home. I'd love to know how many miles I've walked today. I really would. I'll put it up on screen if I can work it out. It's ironic because I'll head back to work on Monday and I'll be going back to work for a rest where this is meant to be the rest in its own right. Never mind. It's great to be outdoors. Photography and hiking. You can't get better exercise. You really can't. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.